Thank you for joining us for a recorded web briefing delivered by the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration. This short briefing is intended for managers and federal agencies who are interested in understanding and potentially adopting a capstone approach within their agency. This briefing will give a high-level overview of the approach and related considerations. Let's join the briefing.
Hello, my name is Paul Wester, the Chief Records Officer for the U.S. Government. Welcome to our Manager's Briefing on the Capstone approach to email management. Simply put, Capstone is a new way to think about email management in the federal government. The policy is the result of several years of study by National Archives and Records Administration staff from across the agency. It is documented in NARA Bulletin 2013-02, Guidance on a New Approach to Managing Email. This bulletin was issued on August 29, 2013. This new way of managing email records was also called for by the Archivist of the United States and the Director of the Office of Management and Budget in the Managing Government Records Directive, also known as OMB Memorandum M12-18. What is Capstone? When you think about federal departments and agencies, you often think about a pyramid. In hierarchical government organizations, most key decisions and important pieces of information flow to the top of the organization and then back down again for action. It makes sense that there are many more important or permanently valuable records at this part of an organization. This is a conceptual representation of a cabinet-level department with sub-agencies. With Capstone, an agency or department captures all of its email. Then by drawing a line near the top of the organization, the agency identifies where the permanently valuable emails of the senior officials reside. Agencies would eventually transfer the emails from these accounts to the National Archives. In this representation, all of the emails at the top of the pyramid, in the dark red area, would be captured for permanent preservation. Beneath the line, in the pink area, the email accounts would be deemed temporary and scheduled for eventual destruction. However, as you can see with the smaller pyramids in the pink area, individual accounts beneath the capstone line can be identified for capture and permanent retention as well. This could be done for the leaders of particularly key mission-related functions that may reside or are managed further down in an organization. And for departments with sub-agencies or bureaus, the capstone concept can be applied in each of those organizations as well. See the blue and green parts of the pyramid. Again, what is Capstone? Going back to the Managing Government Records Directive, which was based on feedback from federal records management professionals and other stakeholders, it was clear that the National Archives needed to provide a more flexible and more easily implemented way to manage email records. The Capstone approach, documented in NARA Bulletin 2013-04 and illustrated in the conceptual representation on the previous slide, allows agencies to manage email records at the account level. It also reduces the need to file emails, either electronically or manually, on an item-by-item basis. With proper planning and preparation, Capstone can be implemented so that it operates seamlessly in the background of the system. This can ensure better records management as user error and human intervention are removed from the process. Capstone also leverages a department's or an agency's existing technology, or technologies that it is probably purchasing anyway to meet its business needs. Departments and agencies can integrate native email systems, email vaults, and other repositories to implement the Capstone concept. There are several issues that we would like to stress about Capstone. First, Capstone is not mandatory for all federal departments or agencies. If your department or agency is efficiently and cost-effectively managing its email already with more traditional records management approaches, this approach may not work or may not be needed. Second, Capstone is not a technology. It is a different approach to managing email with current email platforms and storage technologies, or newer technologies your department or agency is deploying anyway to meet other business needs. Third, Capstone is not a record schedule. Departments and agencies still need to have legal disposition authority from the Archivist of the United States to manage their email records according to the Capstone approach. Capstone does not relieve departments or agencies of their records management responsibilities, but it does give them additional flexibility to manage records more efficiently and in more cost-effective ways. Beyond record scheduling, departments and agencies still have responsibility for protecting records from unauthorized access, deletion, or alienation, ensuring appropriate access to support ongoing business needs within the agency, Ensuring Capstone implementation does not undermine the management of other long-standing mission-related records, such as case files. Agencies have the responsibility for creating, maintaining, and preserving appropriate metadata for the life of the records. So what should managers know about Capstone? First, Capstone is a flexible approach to managing email. There are a number of ways a department or agency could choose to implement the policy. Capstone allows for the systematic transfer of permanently valuable email accounts to the National Archives. Capstone also allows for the systematic disposal of entire email accounts that are scheduled for temporary retention. Second, aside from their ongoing records management responsibilities outlined in the Federal Records Act, managers and other senior leaders should know that there are several other particular responsibilities that they have in implementing the Capstone policy. One is working with records management professionals in their department or agency to identify the permanent and temporary email accounts. Another is ensuring that these are the proper accounts as the department or agency changes over time and as senior agency officials move into and out of Capstone roles. Managers should keep in mind that Capstone is a flexible approach to managing email, but it is also an iterative process, part of a constantly evolving records and information management environment that needs to be monitored and effectively managed over time. So you would like to implement Capstone at your agency? Where do you start? You should start by evaluating your agency's current email management environment. The following are some questions that can guide you in your evaluation. What are your agency's email management practices and policies? What is your email platform and storage capacity? Are you making changes to your email or storage systems in the near term? What records management challenges has your agency experienced recently? How many of them involved email? What were the underlying causes of these challenges? Other factors to consider include, does my department or agency have particular legal challenges and responsibilities that need to be considered? How will my agency effectively manage personally identifiable information and classified information in a Capstone implementation? How can Capstone support the agency's FOIA responsibilities and day-to-day FOIA operations? What kinds of challenges or opportunities is my agency facing in the IT area? What is the effect of the current budget climate? Is there an opportunity to leverage current or planned IT infrastructure? Capstone is not mandatory, and at the end of your analysis, you may conclude that Capstone does not meet your agency's records and information management needs. If you find your email management and records management situation operate well, you may not need to take any action. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But if you have opportunities or challenges, the Capstone approach may help address your agency's issues. If you want to implement Capstone, where do you start as a manager? The most important thing you can do is get the right people involved in the conversation. It is important to have the senior agency official for records management and the agency or departmental records officer involved from the beginning. Others who can provide great insights and support are the CIO or senior members of the information technology staff, the general counsel, the FOIA office, the privacy program, and of course your budget organization. NARA staff, particularly the NARA appraisal archivist assigned to your agency, is also available to participate in the conversation and the planning. Things to keep in mind as you implement Capstone. From our early experience, we see 4 primary implementation factors. First is technology. Are your agency's current technology platform sufficient to implement Capstone? Second is policy. What does my agency need to do from a policy perspective, including proposing new record schedules, to implement Capstone? Third is training and awareness. What kinds of training will the line staff in the organization need to have to understand Capstone? What kinds of training and awareness will Capstone officials in my agency need as the technology and policy is rolled out? Third is training and awareness. What kinds of training will the line staff in the organization need to understand Capstone? What kinds of training and awareness will Capstone officials in your agency need as the technology and policy is rolled out? How will you make them aware of the fact that all of their email will likely be retained for permanent retention? Fourth is identifying the team and the other stakeholders. You need a strong multidisciplinary team to make Capstone happen. Most of the team members will come from the organizations identified in the previous slide. To ensure success, you need to keep the team intact. Thanks so much for your interest in the National Archives' new approach to managing email records, known as Capstone. The following are 2 important links for obtaining more information on taking the next steps. First, we have a web page on our archives.gov site that provides more background resources on Capstone and email management generally. Second, if you have questions, please contact your agency's NARA appraisal archivist. Their contact information is also listed on the archives.gov site at the link indicated on this slide. Thanks again for your time and attention.
We hope that you have found this briefing useful. For more information about the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration and the Capstone approach, please visit us online at www.archives.gov, keyword email management.